Okay, here I'm gonna go over the Supermicro IPMI. One of the ways to access it is through the web, and I've already given my interface an IP, and I was putzing around with it earlier before I had my CPU or memory installed, and I was fighting with this for a while, and I can't figure this one out yet, but every time you try to log in, or once you get in, it'll give you this Java error, or it'll tell you that you're running the wrong version of Java. And I haven't been able to figure out what the correct version is. Doing some Google searches brings up some people using one version, some people using another version. I wasn't able to figure it out. I have tried 3 different Javas. I actually made a new virtual machine, an entirely new machine, and just goof around with this a little bit. I think this is build 17 from version 6. Java's on version 7. I want to say like update 51 right now or something. I'm pretty sure this is going to look for a version 6 though, but I'm not positive on that. But I'm going to update the BIOS version and the firmware, the BMC, the IPMI controller. Both of these firmwares need to be updated. So I'm going to update those first, and then I'll try to narrow down the Java errors a little bit more. But yeah, I'm running this in a virtual machine because I won't run Java on my desktop. And I noticed this button doesn't do anything. Watch. I can click apply. It's not checked. You click OK. Watch. Ta-da! Okay, well anyways, this is the interface. No, well, I suppose. Alright, that's the interface. This, useless. That's just like the overview. Yeah, shut up. Okay, so, server health. You can look at sensor readings. The machine is not powered on right now, so there's no sensors to detect. Events log, these 2 events for fans from the factory. Config. There's a whole bunch of junk in here. I haven't looked through this too closely. I did set up an NTP server though, or set it to connect to an NTP server. You got LDAP, Active Directory Radius, mouse mode. I don't know what that means. Network, I gave it a static IP on my network. It's got IPv6. This is the IPMI port, so it's got a 1 gig connection. This is one of the other Ethernet ports, and I connected that for some reason. I can't remember. I'm going to do something here. Dynamic DNS if you want to do that at the board level, I guess. SMTP server settings, SSL. Strangely, it has a cert on it. I don't know. Users, ports, IP access, fan mode, web session, where am I? Config. None of this is going to work because of the Java. Oh, I guess well, we can do that, but I'm going to do that from a different interface. Yeah, that's virtual media. You can virtualize a floppy disk drive or CD-ROM. And I was goofing around with this. Well, I'm going to come back to this in a second here. Let's see. Maintenance. Here's where you can update the BMC. Reset the unit, or reset just the IPMI or the KVM interface, or reset the defaults. Save your config. I'm not entirely sure what this system event log is compared to the other events log. I'm going to goof around with that later. And then this, the BIOS update, the ProOct key anyways, you can't update your BIOS through this interface unless you pay them another, I believe it's another $20, and I don't think I'm going to bother doing that because it's just as easy through USB. We have this, post snooping, current BIOS code, which I think you can pull from the, well, I think you can get it another way too. UID status, help is, what is it going to do? I don't know what that's going to do. Oh, it just toggles that, whatever. So, what I was trying to do earlier was I made this ISO with the BIOS update on it, and I tried making this ISO bootable, and I thought I had done it correctly, and I got it mounted here, and I think we're done here for now. Yeah, we're done here, but it didn't work. Well, it didn't work, so actually I'm going to unmount that for now. Okay, so that's not mounted. I'm going to just do it with the USB stick. I've got a USB stick with the BIOS update over there. It's a bootable USB. So I'm going to do it through this view. So I'm logged in. Let's see here. First we need to turn it on. I don't think there's any other settings in here that are any different than the web view. There's actually less settings in here than the web view. But this is easier to handle, I think. I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to power up, on, come over to this console. I don't think you can hear it on this mic, but I can hear the CPU fan going full bore right now. So here's the BIOS. Boot up. Okay, it worked. So this is the USB drive, and I don't have anything else attached to the motherboard right now. I've just got the CPU's in, the memory's in, and then I've got the 8-pin or the 24-pin and the 8-pin power, and I've got a Ethernet to the IPMI interface, and I guess I have one running to LAN 1 for some reason, and then I've got the thumbstick installed, installed. So this is the thumb drive. What do we got here? This is the BIOS update, and I actually made this like a week ago or something like that, where I was screwing around with this. I don't know. So I believe